Okay, for this lesson 2 here, we're going to continue with multiplying polynomials. We're just going to be using some longer expressions. But essentially we're doing the same thing as we did the previous lesson. We multiply each term in the first polynomial by each term in the second polynomial, and then we simplify. So let's take this example. 3k plus 4 times k squared minus 2k plus 6. First step, take that 3k, multiply it by 3k squared, you get 3k cubed. Then you keep working with that 3k, multiply by negative 2k, that's negative 6k squared. Finally, 3k multiplied by 6 would be a positive 18k. Then we work on it with the second term of the first polynomial, the 4. 4 times k squared is 4k squared. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8k. 4 times 6 is a positive 24. And then we try to simplify by looking for like terms. Again, like terms would have the same variable raised to the same power. So 6k, for instance, 6k squared and 4k squared are like terms. 18k and 8k are like terms. So when we simplify, we'll get 3k cubed minus 6k squared plus 4k squared is a negative 2k squared, plus 18k minus 8k is a positive 10k, and then can't forget that 24 in the end. And that would be your answer. So let's keep working with more examples. So for example 1, we have 6x minus y multiplied by 3x plus 2y minus 6. Take the first term in the first polynomial, the 6, and multiply it by the 6x multiplied by 3x. We get 18x squared. The 6x multiplied by 2y is a 12xy. A 6x multiplied by a negative 6 is a negative 36x. Once that's done, we'll go with the second term in the first polynomial, the negative y. Negative y multiplied by 3 is a negative 3xy. Negative y multiplied by 2y is a negative 2y squared. Negative y multiplied by negative 6 is a positive 6y. At this point, we can look at like terms. We have xy and xy there, so those are your like terms. We'll simplify now. 18x squared. Then you have 12xy minus 3xy. That's a positive 9xy. Minus 36x plus 6y minus 2y squared. Okay, next example. Want to warn you, and don't copy this part down, but this 3y minus 4 squared does not just equal 3y squared, which is 9y squared, minus 4 squared, which is 16. That is incorrect. What you need to start with is to write the 3y minus 4 squared as 3y minus 4 multiplied by itself. 3y minus 4. And then we can expand the way we've been doing, which is we take the first term of the first polynomial, the 3y, multiply it by the first term of the second polynomial. So that's 9y squared. Take that 3y, multiply it by negative 4, negative 12y. Then work with the second term. Negative 4 times 3y is negative 12y, and then negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16. You can see that you have two like terms here, the 12y's. So we can simplify this as 9y squared minus 24y plus 16. And that is our answer there. Sorry, the previous one, that is your answer. Okay, let's look at the next example. 3x minus 2 times 2x minus 3 plus x minus 4y squared. So remember here that we always must use the correct order of operations. So we need to do exponents and multiplication before any addition subtraction. So what we're going to do is first rewrite this as 3x minus 2 multiplied by 2x minus 3 plus x minus 4y squared, which just means that x minus 4y is multiplied by itself. Okay, and then we'll expand the two sets of products, and then simplify. So let's take that 3x multiplied by 2x. We'll get 6x squared. 3x multiplied by negative 3 is negative 9x. Negative 2 times 2x is a negative 4x. Negative 2 times negative 3 is a positive 6. Now we have x times x is an x squared. X times negative 4y is a negative 4xy. Negative 4y times x is also negative 4xy. And finally, negative 4y times negative 4y is a positive 16y squared. Now we look for like terms and try to simplify. See an x squared term here and an x squared term there. Terms with x's, and also terms with xy's. So we'll combine those like terms and simplify. 6x plus x squared is 7x squared. Negative 9x minus 4x is negative 13x. Negative 4xy minus 4xy is negative 8xy. And we have a 6, and we have a 16y squared as well. Now, often when we write polynomials, we begin with the highest order polynomial first, or highest degree first, which just means order it according to the degree of the exponents. So we can write this as 16y squared plus 7x squared minus 8xy minus 13x plus 6. And that would be our final answer. You don't necessarily have to order it by degree, but it's just something people do in practice. Okay, moving on, 3 more examples. Okay, for this example, we see a minus 3 here, and we see 2 other polynomials that it's going to multiply by. So how are we going to deal with that? Well, let's take a look at an example where you have just simple numbers. Say a 3 multiplied by a 4 multiplied by a 5. How would we solve this? Well, we can either say 3 times 4 is 12, multiply that by 5, and we get 60. Or you can think of it as you have 4 multiplied by 5 is 20, multiply that by 3, and you get 60. So when you're dealing with 3 factors, you can choose to multiply the first 2 factors and then get an answer and then multiply it by the third factor. Or you can multiply the last 2 factors, get an answer, and then multiply it by the first factor. And that's what we're going to do with this example. So we're just going to start by rewriting this problem here. We have 2v minus 1 multiplied by v plus 7. And then we have our negative 3, and we'll have these big square brackets here to show that negative 3 is going to be multiplied by the product of v minus 4 times 4v plus 9. So we're going to multiply these 2 first, and then when we're done that, multiply by negative 3. Let's see how this all works out. First, we'll start with a 2v minus 1 times v plus 7. 2v times v is 2v squared. 2v times 7 is a positive 14v. Negative 1 times v is a negative v. Negative 1 times 7 is a negative 7. We have our negative 3, and that negative 3 is going to be multiplied by the product of v minus 4 times 4v plus 9. So let's do that. V times 4v is 4v squared. v multiplied by 9 is a positive 9v. Negative 4 times 4v is a negative 16v. And negative 4 times 9 is a negative 36. Okay, so we continue. We can just keep the 2v squared plus 14v minus 7 as is for now. And this negative 3, we can distribute or multiply it through the brackets there. So negative 3 times 4v is a negative 12v squared. Negative 3 times 9v is a negative 27v. Negative 3 times negative 16v is a positive 48v. And negative 3 times negative 36 is a positive 108. And almost done. At this point, we just need to simplify by combining like terms. We have v squareds. We have terms with just v. And then we have the constants, or the numbers, negative 7 and 108. So cleaning that up a little, we have 2v squared minus 12v is a negative 10v squared. The 14v minus v minus 27v plus 48v, in total that'll come to a positive 34v. And then negative 7 plus 108 would be a positive 101. And that would be your final answer. And here we have a word problem. Determine the area of the shaded region in factored form. So factored form means we don't have to expand this. Now, let's look at the situation. You have two rectangles, a large rectangle and a small rectangle. And all you want is the area of the shaded region. So you want this dark gray area. Now, if you want just the area of the shaded region, it's as if you took the area of the large rectangle and subtracted or took away from that the area of the small rectangle. Reminder, area of a rectangle is length times width. So again, we're taking the area of the large rectangle and subtracting it from the area of the small rectangle. That would give us the area of the shaded region. So let's look at the area of the large rectangle, length times width. Length would be 2x minus 1 multiplied by the width of 3x minus 5. We're going to subtract from that the area of the small rectangle, length of x plus 5, and width of x minus 2. And since we're told we can leave it in factored form, let's just leave it in factored form. That'll be our answer. Finally, last example, we have another word problem. It says determine an expression for the volume of a rectangular box with height 2x, width 3x minus 4, and length x plus 6. So it's a rectangular box, like a rectangular prism. Volume would be length times width times height. So we put all those expressions together. We have a length of x plus 6, a width of 3x minus 4, and a height of 2x. And again, if you have three factors, what do? You multiply the first two factors, get an answer, and then multiply it by the last factor. So let's do just that. X times 3x is 3x squared. X times negative 4 is negative 4x. 6 times 3x is a positive 18x. 6 times negative 4 is a negative 24. And all of that we're going to end up multiplying by 2x. Before we do it, let's clean up or simplify our first factor there. 3x squared. Then you have negative 4x plus 18x is a positive 14x minus 24. All that's going to be multiplied by the 2x again. Finally, 3x squared multiplied by 2x equals 6x cubed. 14x multiplied by 2x would be 28x. And then negative 24 multiplied by 2x would be negative 48x. And that would be your answer. So that's it for this lesson, and I'll post some homework for you guys to do to follow on to this. Thanks.